Hey there! Chapter 4 is all about the business of fashion. The business of fashion has a huge contribution to the U.S. and world economy. Its contributions are based on the materials and services that it purchases, the wages and taxes it pays, and the goods and services it produces. The fashion industry is one of the largest employers in the country, employing 1.9 million people. There are four levels of the fashion industry: the primary level, the secondary level, the retail level, and the auxiliary level. These levels work interdependently to produce and provide merchandise to satisfy consumers. The primary level is made up of the growers and producers of raw materials, such as fibers, fabric, leather, and fur. Decisions about textile and color take place at this level. This level also works the furthest in advance. Oftentimes, primary level goods are imported from third world countries. The secondary level is made up of manufacturers and contractors that produce semi-finished and finished fashions from materials produced at the primary level. At this level, you have designers and manufacturers of the different apparel categories, such as women's, men's, and children's apparel, as well as underwear and accessories. This level works 6 to 18 months in advance. Manufacturers at this level can be US based. The retail level is the ultimate distribution level. At this level, there are various retailers who purchase goods from those at the secondary level to sell to the consumer. The relationship between the primary, secondary, and retail levels is vertical. Purchases are made by retailers 3 to 6 months prior to the consumer buying season. The auxiliary level functions with all of the other levels simultaneously. This level is composed of support services that work to make consumers aware of the merchandise. So you have advertisers, fashion consultants, and retailers at this level. Competition. Since companies practically sell the same goods, they must also compete for the business of consumers. They can compete in one of three ways: by price, by quality, or by innovation. So take a moment and do a quick Google search for a pair of jeans or a hooded sweatshirt, also known as a hoodie. The results should reflect jeans from various manufacturers or hoodies from various manufacturers that are sold by different retailers. But what sets these jeans or hoodies apart will be either their price tag, their quality, such as the weight of the fabric, the texture, fit, or durability, or how creative and different the product is. So, competition helps to control costs, often keeping price points reasonable. Regulations. There are two basic categories of federal legislation that affect the fashion industry. We have laws that regulate competition, and we also have labeling laws that are designed to protect the consumer. Here's a few key federal laws. For a more inclusive list, view page 71 in your textbook. The Federal Trade Commission FTC Act. FTC is the policing agency. It develops protocols for policing unfair methods of competition like price fixing. The Flammable Fabric Act prohibits the sale of flammable fabrics in interior furnishings and apparel. The Textile Fiber Identification Act protects producers and consumers against false identification of fiber content. The Fair Packaging and Labeling Act regulates interstate and foreign commerce by prohibiting deceptive methods of packaging or labeling. Forms of business ownership. So the three most common forms of business ownership include sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporations. A sole proprietorship involves a single owner. They are simple to form and easy to dissolve. However, sole proprietorships have access to limited capital and have unlimited financial liability. Partnerships involve a few owners. They are simple to form and have more access to capital. However, it has unlimited financial liability and lacks continuity upon the death of a partner. Corporations involve many owners. They have limited financial liability and greater access to capital. However, they are difficult to form and dissolve. This particular form of business ownership has taken over the fashion business. Corporations have become giants through mergers, acquisitions, and internal expansions. See page 72 in your textbook for more advantages and disadvantages of these forms of business ownership. Business growth and expansion. Internal growth is a company's ability to offer more services, a broader assortment of merchandise, and to increase profits. There are two types of internal growth. Horizontal growth is when a company expands its capabilities on the same level that it has already been performing successfully. An example would be Michael Kors. So Michael Kors has the Michael by Michael Kors line, but he also has the Michael Kors line. You also have Guess that has a higher price point line called Marciano. Vertical growth is when a company expands its capabilities on other levels other than its primary function. So let's take Sean John for example. So Sean John had retail stores where they carried their very own product. A merger is also known as an acquisition. This happens when one company purchases another. Typically, the purchasing company remains dominant. Mergers are motivated by purchasing power and profits. Examples of mergers are the Nike and Converse acquisition that occurred in 2003, or you even have the Coach and Kate Spade acquisition that occurred in 2017. Diversification is the addition of various lines, products, or services to accommodate different markets. It can also be a motive for a merger. So think about a few years ago when Target were doing these collaborations with designers such as Jason Wu or Miu Miu. These are all examples of how companies diversify. Franchises are arrangements that are made typically with a contract. Well, usually in most cases, always with a contract. That gives an individual or group the right to own a business while benefiting from the expertise and reputation of an established company. In 2018, franchises generated retail sales of $757.2 billion in the US. Franchises are more widely known in the fast food industry, but they are also found at the retail level of the fashion business. An example is Lululemon. Licensing is a legal arrangement where a company is given permission to produce and market merchandise in the name of the licensor. So the licensor will collect a royalty fee, which is a percentage of the sales. Royalty fees are usually 2 to 15%. Examples of licensing agreements include Disney, Kate Spade, and UGG. There are plenty of licensing agreements. You know that cute Kate Spade phone case or those UGG sheets? Those are all created through licensing agreements. The benefits of licensing is the household name of the designer, which is associated with high quality. All right, class, check out part 2 of the business of fashion.